Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Ijaz Najid and this is my story.
I couldn't find happiness in anything. I started reviewing all the places I was searching, like money, jewelry and women. Look at the lifestyle we was living. Now I find satisfaction in the simple things. Look at the inner peace that religion brings. Like just knowing your purpose in life. Like knowing the angel of death could take your soul tonight. Like the possibility of you getting to paradise. You know, knowing you can get there if you're living right.
Well, I'm from Birmingham. I'm from Jamaican heritage. And had a normal upbringing as a kid, really. Primary school, that's when I started to tear away a little bit, getting in trouble all the time, fighting a lot. Well, I grew up in Nechells, then I went to a school called Washwood Heath. At age of 11, I started playing football for the school team. Never really played football before, just normal in the streets and that. And then I got scouted by Wolverhampton Wanderers. I signed a year contract with them. But I could never get there because my dad wasn't really around to bring me to games and train and things like that. So I stopped and I carried on playing for the district team. And at 12, I got scouted by Birmingham City and I stayed there up until 16. And I got kicked out in year 10. But because I was such a good athlete and I was so good at football, Birmingham City offered to take me in early on a scholarship. So I stayed with them, but I was hanging around with the wrong crowd and I wasn't turning up to training. I was just doing my own thing, really. I was just a bit of a tearaway. To be honest, it's the usual story, really. Hanging around with the wrong crowd, getting involved with gangs, selling drugs. I saw a lot of drugs from an early age. So the normal story that a lot of youth go through in the area. After football, I got to the stage where I didn't care, to be honest. I wanted to make money. That was the only thing that interested me. Like, even though I was involved and around gangs, I was always the type of person where I'd do my own thing. So when I started making money on the roads, that's the only thing that interested me. So I was a bit of like a one-man soldier sort of thing. This was the road where I got stabbed, right there behind us, when I was 14. To be honest, you know, at the time, it was like stripes, innit? Being stabbed at 14, because I was probably the first person out of our group to go through something like that. Even though years later, people got shot and stabbed. I was the youngest one at the time to go through that, so at the time it was like stripes. Yeah, I survived, I got stabbed. We're gonna get him back, sort of thing. So it was like a game. You don't realise how life short is when you're 14. So it's like a game, innit? You're playing with fire. It's like it's a joke thing to you. Getting stabbed, yeah, I'm a big man. I got stabbed and survived. Go back to school and tell my story, sort of thing. Yeah, when I got stabbed, my mum didn't react well to it at all. In fact, she sent me to live with my nan in the Zows of all places. She sent me to live with my nan for a few months. And again, that wasn't even a problem for me, really, because obviously your nan's old, and so you can kind of do what you want anyway, and your nan spoils you. So I was getting extra money, extra pocket money, and just going out and doing what I was doing anyway, because it was in the Zows, it was in the ends, sort of thing. So that probably wasn't even the right decision that my mum made, but she thought that she was doing the best to get me out of the area at the time. But it didn't really help, to be honest. There was a group of us, I'm not going to say no one's name, but there was about 5, 6 of us that we was really close from the age of 12, and we just grew up together. One of us, he got shot in the neck, and he was on a life support machine for a month, and sadly he passed away. And that was a big impact in my life, to see someone so close to me, to see him on the deathbed. And about 6 months before that is when I took Shahada. So I started thinking a lot about life and death and how serious it was. But the usual thing happens when someone dies, it impacts on you straight away, but then you forget and you go back to your old ways. My friend, he died when he was 19 at the time, just before his 20th birthday. And I just went back to the roads, really, done my thing. and about a year later I got locked up. Well, I got on a charge. I got on a possession intent to supply charge and a few other charges. And the case went on for about a year. And at 21, I got locked up.
SubhanAllah. So you were in jail for a while. Tell us a little bit about the time that you spent in jail. What was it like being in jail?
Prison's not as bad as what everyone thinks it is, but you miss your family. The main thing, you miss your family and your loved ones. But during my time in prison is when I did get closer to Allah, and I started reading about the deen more. When I got out, again, I was on my deen in jail and again fell out of it a little bit when I come out of jail. Started getting sidetracked with the dunya again, with material things, going out, clubbing, girls, money, the usual really. And then I started doing a bit of boxing training, just for fitness originally, because I stopped doing weights because I injured my shoulder. So one of my friends, he says, I'll come to the boxing gym and just do a bit of training. So I went in there, and the first time I went in there, I sparred, and I got a bit of an adrenaline, I got a buzz for it, I got the rush for it, and then I just pursued it. Carried on, I went to another gym where I decided to become an amateur. I had 15 fights, I won 12, and then I decided to turn pro. So now I've been a professional just over a year, and I'm unbeaten, alhamdulillah, with 3 wins and 1 knockout. And inshallah, I'm gonna go on to have a successful career and win some titles. Originally, it was just for fitness, really, and I had an eye. Well, I had the natural talent for it. So then that's why they call me the Natural. That's why my Instagram name is Natty the Natural. Yeah, I've got a real passion for boxing. Like, it's become part of my life. Every day I'm training. I run 5 miles every morning. A lot of times after Fajr, I run 5 miles. Then we train in the afternoon. We do bag work, sparring, and we have intense camps, 12-week camps to prepare us for a fight. Now I'm an unbeaten pro with 3 wins, 1 by knockout. Alhamdulillah. The last fight went the distance. The fight before that, I knocked out the guy in the first round. Allahu Akbar. And that's about it, really. I'm just looking to go on to bigger and better things in the pro game. Hopefully win some titles, inshallah. Believe it or not, music played a big part in how I came to the deen. Because when we was younger, our group of friends, we used to listen to a lot of a London gang called PDC. We used to listen to a lot of them when we was growing up, when we was like 16, 17, 18 upwards. And they used to talk about Allah a lot. And I used to just have an interest in the religion. I used to think, oh, what's this Islam? And how come they keep speaking about it in the lyrics? I had a friend called MC Reaper. A lot of people from Birmingham will know him. He was a few years older than me, and he used to be a big MC in Birmingham. And one time I was on the bus, this was at about 18, I was on the bus and I saw him, and he was in phobe, beard, and I started chatting to him on the back of the bus. I said, long time mate, so yeah, how's the MCing going? And he was like, he don't do none of that no more. And he's a Muslim now. And then I said to him, I'm interested to know about it. And he took me to the masjid. And the first time I went to the masjid, I took Shahada. Alhamdulillah. The main thing was the Jesus thing, how Christians called Jesus God. I could never understand that. It didn't make no sense to me. And I'm from a Christian background where my nan's a devout Christian on both sides. But I could never get the fact, how come they're praying to Jesus? It don't make sense if Jesus was the Son of God. So that was a big reason why Islam appealed to me, because everything was clear and concise and to the point. There was no contradictions. I took Shahada, and then after I took Shahada, because I didn't have a lot of knowledge about the deen, I come off the path a bit, because I didn't have a lot of knowledge about the deen. It was only until a few years later where I started really practicing and I started getting knowledge about the deen.
Now, you know, after embracing Islam. Tell us a little bit about how Islam has changed your life. What has Islam done for you as an individual? Has it changed your life in any type of way?
Yeah, Islam changed my life in every single way that you can think, every single way, down to eating, drinking, sleeping, every single way. And Islam has made me feel at peace with life. It's given me understanding of life and and how materialistic things don't matter. The relationship with my family is even stronger since I've become a Muslim and started practicing. At one point, me and my mum, we didn't speak for probably about 2-3 years. And since Islam, I started practicing. We've got a relationship stronger than ever before. And that's all down to Allah and embracing Islam and practicing. A big turning point for me was Ramadan. The brotherhood that I was shown during that Ramadan was like no other. I didn't miss one prayer, alhamdulillah. I made every single fast, and I could see the change in myself. Islam's kept me on the straight and narrow in regards to haram and crime. Like that doesn't exist no more in my life at all. I give it all up for the sake of Allah. And it's made me a better man just overall. And striving for Jannah, heaven. And to be honest, nothing in the world at all is better than what inshallah, we're gonna have when we pass away. And Islam's made me realize all of that, because before that I didn't care. And even when I did embrace Islam and I wasn't practicing, compared to now, there's a big change, because I used to cheat. I used to say, I can go to the club, but I'm not drinking, so it's okay. Or things like that. But now, since I've been practicing, that doesn't exist no more. When I first took Shahada, I wasn't practicing. But since practicing as a Muslim and following Quran and Sunnah, I'm a different person, and I'm grateful for that, because you don't want to chase the street life, because you'll never be happy. As I said earlier, you'll never be happy. You'll always be chasing something more, whether it's a car, a better car, a bigger house, a prettier woman. You'll always be chasing in the dunya. But as a Muslim, khalas, you're fine, you're humble, you're happy with what Allah gave you. Even you still have your struggles and strives as a revert, because I catch myself sometimes, you look at another car and you think, mashallah, I wouldn't mind that car, but you have to remind yourself always to be grateful for what you've got. So Islam, it humbles you and keeps you away from chasing materialistic things, because to be honest, when you're not practicing, or whether you're a Muslim or not a Muslim, the earth's created and the world, the dunya's created for us to chase, basically. Whatever you think you're going to achieve in the dunya, you always feel like you can achieve more, because you'll never be happy. Even if you're a millionaire and you've got the best car or the biggest house, you still won't be happy. Wallah, you still won't be happy. Look how much millionaires and famous people kill themselves because they're not happy in the dunya. You'll never be happy with the dunya. But as a Muslim, you're humble, you're happy with what you got, because you know there's something better for after and hereafter. My family, they're a pretty open family, and they've embraced my Islam. And I'd say my mum probably is the happiest, because during my time in jail, I don't know if I spoke about that earlier, but me and my mum, we didn't speak during my time in jail. I didn't even have a visit from my mum because before I went to jail, we fell out, and I was ignorant. I was holding grudges. I was holding a lot of, I wouldn't say hate, but I was holding a lot of feelings towards my mum, especially in jail, because I felt like I had no one when I was in jail. So when I come out, even the first year that I got released from jail, me and my mum, we still didn't speak. We didn't have a good relationship. And since practicing, it's made my heart a bit softer, and I'm way more forgiving because Allah forgives us for every sin apart from shirk. So who am I to not forgive my mum for what she may or may not have done? And since practicing and embracing Islam, I've become way more open, and my heart's way more open to my mother and forgiving her. So we've got a great relationship now. Yeah, a lot of my friends that I had when I was younger, a few of them have embraced Islam, alhamdulillah, but a few of them that are still on the off the path, so to say, and still involved in certain things. I've had to pull away from them a bit and lead my own life because, to be honest, to keep it blunt, it's fitna for me. If they're going to the club or going to the rave or linking girls or drinking alcohol, that's fitna for me. So who do we love the most? We love Allah the most. So if I have to distance myself from people that I love, friends, for the sake of Allah, then so be it. A lot of things that I used to take part in, since I've got rid of them, everything's been replaced by Allah. Everything's been replaced by better. Since I've been practicing, before that, I have to be honest, I didn't used to pray because I didn't know the importance of praying. I didn't know the basics of Tawheed. I didn't know none of these things. I was just a Muslim by name. I didn't have no knowledge of the Deen. But since practicing and praying, I'm a different person. I ain't gonna lie to you and say that you still ain't gonna have struggles and strives just because you're praying. In fact, you're going to get him even more because the shaitan's onto you even more when you're praying. But if you're keeping up your 5 daily prayers, it's like an Imam boost because you're constantly reminded of Allah. So that's why I said always hold on to your prayers, always hold on to your salah, because that's always your way out, regardless of what mistakes or what sin that you've done. That's always your way out, your salah. How much you think you're sinning, and shaitan's whispering in your ear and saying, look, you ain't good enough. Look what you done yesterday, or look what you done today. You ain't a good Muslim. Who are you? Why should you pray? You ain't clean. Even if you do wuzu, you still ain't gonna be clean. Don't give in to the shaitan, because that's him whispering to you. Still pray, do wuzu and pray. Since practicing, it's hard to explain. Basically, it's hard to explain how you feel when you're practicing and you're doing everything for the sake of Allah. There's no feeling like it. Before I had money and women, everything that you would want in the dunya, and I was never ever happy, like sincerely happy, because there's always a bigger car, there's always a prettier girl, there's always more money you can get, there's always a bigger house. But since I stopped chasing all of them things, I'm at peace.
Bismillah. When I first met the brother Ijaz, I really knew he was a Muslim. On the red television, I knew he was Muslim. And we talked, we kind of hit it off straight away. And there was a point in time where it was on a bit of a low one. So we sat together, we talked, gave him plenty in the seer, probably shared some DVDs about dawah, and probably possible journeys I went through in my life myself. So just supporting the brother, being there for him, and never ever giving up on the brother, because sometimes that happens a lot in the ummah. Like, we give a bit of advice, we get a bit in the seer, and then we think everything's okay, but you never ever give up on your brother. You always support him for the tough times, and alhamdulillah, it'll work out. Then it was still a relatively steady journey, because it continued supporting him, always texting him, phoning him. Aki, let's go to this talk. Aki, heard this talk. Aki, check this on YouTube. I'm sure you can relate to this. Slowly, alhamdulillah, Allah guides, and his transition's been amazing.
Alhamdulillah, from when I've met Ijaz, from when we started boxing together to now, I see who changed the brother's character, the way he speaks, his conduct, his behaviour. It's all geared towards around the deen. It's all based upon Quran and Sunnah to the best of his ability. And it really does help me as well. And he gives me dawah as well. We help each other. And the brotherhood's only got stronger because from when we first met each other, I wasn't practicing too hard myself. And we've been on this journey together. Alhamdulillah, helped each other. It's the best we can. And yeah, it really has put life into perspective for us, being on this deen, being part of the Brotherhood of Islam, seeking ilm. It changed his life for the better in every aspect. Alhamdulillah.
What advice have you got to Muslims and non-Muslims regarding Islam? If anyone was to come to you and ask you about the religion of Islam, what advice have you got for them?
For Muslims, the only advice I'll probably give them is pray. It's so important because I can see the difference in between praying and not praying before I was a Muslim and as a Muslim. When you pray your salah, it helps you so much in your deen because you constantly remind of Allah. If you let go of your salah, you're just gonna basically do as you please. And I can see that as in a difference in myself. So my advice to Muslims is never let go of your salah. Always pray your 5 prayers a day. No matter what you're doing, even if there's guys on the road, you're doing your madness, you're selling drugs, whatever, don't let go of your salah. Believe me, trust me. Speaking from someone who knows, don't let go of your salah. And that's the only advice I could give to Muslims. Non-Muslims, boy, if anyone that knows me as a non-Muslim can see the change in me, so that alone must can show you that the good in Islam. Don't believe all the media, what you see about terrorism and all these stupid things that they try to put in your head to downgrade Islam. Believe me, it's the sweetest thing ever. Believe me. Jazakallah khair to Roadside to Islam, the brother coming up to see me today. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah.